Hello and welcome. Today we're talking about how does memory work. I'm answering your questions about what is memory and the different types of memory. The show is sponsored by the Structure Success video training, which is a free training, and I'll have more information about signing up for that at the end of the show. A big hello if you're following, subscribing and liking the show, and a special welcome if you're new. Forever Young Autobiographies is the place to learn how to write life stories for family and friends so that unique memories can live on. How does memory work? This is a question that most life story writers come up against when they're starting an autobiography, a memoir, a biography or another life story project. They're usually in the planning or the writing phase, and they're trying to remember a memory and it's maybe a bit hazy, or they're talking to someone else about a specific memory or that they share and they're getting different accounts. Our brain is totally amazing when it comes to memory. So I've done some research, doing some investigating as a journalist, and I've gone through all the scientific jargon and come up with some plain English answers to common questions about memory, and I'm going to go through those with you now. And the first one is, what is memory? So memory is recording, storing and retrieving facts, feelings, even experiences, of course. And the Latin for memory is mindful and remembering. Quite interesting. And there's two kinds of long-term memory that we're interested in as life story writers. Now we have implicit long-term memory and also explicit. Implicit is the things that you do without thinking about them. Things like walking, talking, how to breathe. Our body does that for us using our implicit long-term memory. As writers and as trying to get memories from our brain, we are talking about explicit long-term memory. So this is facts and experiences. So that's what is memory. But whereabouts is this taking place in the brain? So the brain's broken up into different areas, being the surface, the front, the middle and the back. And there's different parts do different things. So the short term is the front, and the implicit, the walking, talking, breathing, that's in the middle and the back. And the explicit long-term memory, that is at the middle and the surface. And as we're sleeping, that's the middle of the brain is replaying our memories to the surface. That's my understanding of it. So really quite interesting of how the brain works, the different parts. But how does this all work? This is the big question. In the center, there's a little nub called the hippocampus. And it files our memories. So it's getting them in and then it's putting it into different halves of the brain. And it's also retrieving them, a bit like a librarian. When you ask to get a book, they go to the shelf, they get the book, they bring it back. That's what the hippocampus is doing when you want to recall a memory. It's going to get it coming back. Now, really interesting, there's not one spot that one memory is saved to in your brain. It operates a bit like a spider's web. It's called web storage, so to speak. So that's why if you have a trauma, some kind of head injury, you might be able to remember parts of a memory, but not all, because it's stored all over the brain. And you can remember or you can recall by the reactivation of different nerve cells. So moving on, a little bit of an aside, because I know I will get questions about this, is what exactly is short-term memory? And short-term memory has to do, as I mentioned, with the front of the brain. This is where we hold information for just a few seconds in what's called our working memory. And you use this all the time. Say you go to the fridge to get something out, hopefully you're remembering what you need to get out of the fridge. Or someone's giving you a web address to look up and then you're typing that. So really short-term memory, short working memory. That brings me nicely to recall and loss of memory. That's where I'm going to end today's show, about memory loss and recall. So, of course, there's many reasons why our memory sort of decreases over time, and some of that is medical. But if you could imagine, it's how often we remember things that ingrains these memory pathways. So think of it like a path, whether that's a path to the beach through the sand or a trail through a forest. The more you're walking, or your brain is recalling memories, walking that pathway through the brain, the more ingrained and defined the pathway becomes. If you're not walking the trail or that beach path, it's sort of going to overgrow or blow away in time. So the more you use it, the stronger the memories will become. And if you're not recalling or you're not using it, it's going to become weaker over time. Interestingly though, we do create new neurons throughout our life. And this does decrease with age, not surprising there. But it is believed that with exercise, we can start to grow or create new neurons. So very interesting there. I hope that's a good summary, some amazing facts about creating memories and where is all this memory, what's going on in the different parts of our brain. So to recap, we talked about what is memory, where is it all stored, how does it work, a little bit of an aside about short-term memory, and then to finish off we talked about memory loss and recall. So I hope this gives you some amazing insight into the power of your brain. I mean, it really is an amazing piece of our human body, and it's going to get you to recall and kind of be more interested in recalling memories for your life story. So this show is just a small snippet of a larger article I have about this topic over at my website, which I'd love for you to check out. You need to go to foreveryoungautobiographies.com/howdoesmemorywork. Go over there, have a read, and leave me a comment at the bottom. What's your earliest memory? How far back can you go? Leave me a comment again at the website, or you can even send me an email at info@foreveryoungautobiographies.com. The Structure Success video training, you can sign up for that over at the website. It's at foreveryoungautobiographies.com/structure success sign up. Again, I mentioned before, this is where I go through some exercises and you come up with a rough outline for your life story work. Doesn't take too long, it's not too hard, it's just a really great way to get started with your writing, and I highly recommend you sign up because it's free. I'll be back again soon with another topic, so please follow, subscribe and like the show, and until I catch you next time, happy writing.